Good morning, Olive Branch. I'm TJ Cates, and I'm here with one of the top business ladies in DeSoto County. And you've been running your business for 20 years after your father gave it to you. Let's introduce yourself.
I'm Angel Gross, and with Olive Branch Plumbing, I'll probably.
We asked her to come on the show, and she wasn't really sure. And I know she's going to be a great guest because we talk a lot. And she does amazing work, and everybody knows that you do. And you're right here, and you're self-employed, and you're running a business right here in Olive Branch, and that's what we really want to have more people. If you're running a business in Olive Branch and you want to come on and promote it, or a charity, or you want to do some community involvement, please reach out to us and schedule to be a guest on the show. But I actually asked you to be on the show, so thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you for asking me.
We're going to cover some things, y'all. We're going to cover some safety. I know we just had a freeze a few weeks ago, and you got a little bit busy. And there's some things, and we're going to get some tips and tricks like we like to do, to tell you things that you can do to be ready for the next freeze or the next severe weather, even rain. We're going to get into that. We're also going to get into some of the cool things you may see on the HGTV channels. Did I say that right?
Yes.
I always call it the wrong thing. But when you see things on television, like the Magnolia Homes and the different designers and the Property Brothers and the different shows, you see things that maybe you haven't seen in a house. The good thing about it, she can get it in and she can install it in your house. Yes. So let's start with the tips and tricks.
Okay, on the freeze leaks, let's cover that because we've had a lot of people this year not know where their cutoffs are, emergency cutoff, or their cutoff for the house. You need to find that right away.
Yeah.
We have had firemen come out trying to turn off this, which we never get snow like we did this year. But that's very important, is having your emergency cut off in case your water heater, but you know, we've had, my water heater has busted.
Wow.
In the middle at 3 o'clock in the morning, I had, it came through the ceiling actually. So, I mean,
we don't want that. So we're going to try to
bedroom.
teach you how to not have your hot water heater come through the ceiling. I'm not a fan of hot water heaters being above the house. I like garages, and I like a little PVC pipe going out for overflows. I don't know in what world it became okay to put hot water heaters up on the second and third story, but that's just my preference. I would never build a house and do that because things like you say are going to happen. You're talking about 40 and 50 gallon hot water heaters, and if you carried 1 gallon of milk and you carried in 50 gallons from the store into your house, you got to imagine how heavy that is.
That's right.
So we're going to talk about flushing out the things, but let's talk about the cutoff valve. You know that out by the street there's a cutoff valve.
Right.
But in your home, if you go look for it, it looks like a water spigot, and you have to open a closet or something, and there's a nozzle, and if you've got a leak in your house, just turn off that nozzle and the water shuts off.
And it's in an odd place. It
It's
could
always
be
in an
under
odd
your
place.
vanity, you know, or in a pantry, or in a linen closet. I've seen them in there as well.
Yeah.
But it's very important. If you don't have one, then you need to get one right away.
What I'm a believer in is run a drill. If you go find it, just put your hands on it right now, today.
Right.
If you want to do it right now, we'll just hold on while you go do it. But if you just turn it off and turn it back on, it's just like the hose bib outside, and it's going to turn off all the water to your house, and it's going to stop a leak. At Christmas time, one time I was out shopping, and I got a phone call that my house, the water hose connector from the hot water away from the washing machine to the wall, it sprung. It was the old rubber ones.
Yeah.
And it was a little bitty leak, but I was gone just a matter of hours, and we had about this much water through the entire house, new carpet, Christmas presents were floating. We had to put everything, and it was right before Christmas. It was wrong. So
Just make sure it works.
Yeah.
A lot of times they don't work, you know, and then if you do an emergency check right now or whatever, and your faucets will start, you know, spittering a little bit because they have air in them. So just go around and turn on all your faucets, make sure they have a good flow in them, and get the air out of it.
let's talk about that. Let's talk about the myth of what people need to do next time we have a freeze or any kind of weather like we had. I know a lot of people open the cabinets, which I think is an amazing thing. It lets the cabinet. But let's talk about, do you let the hot and cold run, or just
run the cold water only with a steady flow, and don't turn on the hot water. I've had a lot of people just drizzle the hot water. So as cold as it was just freezing up right away.
Okay.
So, and then it would build up and then it would bust. So as cold as it is here, I would probably try to do, well, this time would have been the heat tape would have been good for the outside
you keep saying
walls.
heat tape. What is heat tape?
I looked it up. I was like, well, we have got to prevent this, you know, to keep this from happening, because most of the time it happens again if you're with the, you know, PVC pipe or copper, you know, it wraps around your water line. You'll have to have an electrical socket there, but it heats up the water line there.
Okay, is that something somebody can do themselves, or is that something they would call you for?
Well, they can call us. We'll be glad to do it. But yes, you can do it.
Okay, let's talk about some more tricks and things like that. We have faucets, the hose bib, which I keep using that word a lot today. The word of the day is hose bib. But you do the hose bib on the outside of the house where you wash your car. Okay, that can freeze up. I learned the lesson in the same house I had the flood from, that from the hose to the inside is not insulated. So it can actually burst and cause a flood on the inside of the house. And that can be fixed pretty easily and put an insulated one in, which are not dreadfully expensive.
Not at all. And then they have the covers that you can put on. The hose bibs are the first ones that freeze. Just know where your emergency cutoff is. There's several houses that we walked in and it's just sad. You know, their furniture is ruined.
Water doesn't know any better.
And then I've had some that have come in and they didn't know how to turn off the water, and so the water's still gushing out.
By the
And I'm
time
like,
you get through the water. Is that something you ever add to a house as emergency shut off? Are there homes
oh
that
yeah,
don't have
we
it?
can at the
Okay.
tie back, yes.
So they could actually call you and have maybe get their house inspected by a plumber
Right.
and see what you could kind of get ready. Let's talk about the instant hot water, the units that you can get in versus the hot water tanks. Is that
The tankless is wonderful. I just got one, I guess about 3 or 4 years ago. And it's continuous hot water. It's very small, it doesn't take up.
it's just a little box, right?
Right, and it'll hang on the wall, and it takes less room, and
Is it safer or is it not?
I think it's safer.
Okay.
I mean, you know,
Is it always run off electric instead of gas?
you have to have electric and gas to it.
Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about like the cost, like versus, because if you have to get a hot water heater, they're not cheap anymore.
No.
You're talking about what is it to get a hot water heater, the range?
Oh, it varies, you know, it just depends on what gallon. But the tankless water heaters are a little more expensive,
But
but
in
they
the
last
long
longer.
run-
I don't go back on those.
Yeah.
The heat exchange maybe, but a lot of times it's because no one flushes out their water heaters.
Let's talk about that. How do you flush? Is that something somebody can do at home?
They can call us and we'll be glad to come out there
That's a
and do
better
it.
idea,
Yes.
probably.
Yes.
Because there is a hose bib at the bottom of a hot water heater, but how do you know? And you got to make sure it's turned off.
Right.
And you got to check and make sure you're not running it dry.
The segments in our water will break down, like the heat exchange. I've seen several of those, and you have a 5-year warranty on the tank.
Okay.
And the main thing I'm seeing is the flush outs. But now when we put the tankless water heaters in, we'll call you when it's time to, or text you and say, hey, it's time to set up your flush outs.
There you go. Okay. Now, how long has your company been in business?
I would say 30 years.
And you're located over by Maywood
I am.
on 78?
8510 Highway 178.
Do you get a lot of walk-in, or do people call
We
you?
do. They're looking for parts usually, you know,
Okay, let's get to the good stuff.
and advice.
Let's give some advice on how people can transform their house and redo their bathrooms and their kitchens with products that you can get in. Are the farm sinks still popular?
They're real popular. But if you get a farm sink, make sure it says, you know, a lot of times it'll say you need to add this to complete the fixture. So
Yeah.
just make sure you stroll down a little bit, and the tools that you need to go with that, you know, or the drains, or
Well, when you put in a farm sink, which is usually deeper, and sometimes it's just one drain, up under your sink, they could probably do it themselves, but I'm trying to urge people, if you don't, try. I mean, you're going to make a lot of trips to a hardware store, but they can call you and get it professionally installed. But the drain, everything drops because
It
it's a
does.
deeper sink.
Right, that's what I
And
was
you got
gonna
your
say.
garbage disposal. How does the farm sink play with the garbage disposal?
Well, yeah.
Is it still connected?
well, the farm sink is deeper, so in the wall, the drains have to go down. And so, yeah, I wouldn't try that unless you have a little plumbing experience to
And the
move the
dishwasher
drains
connects
down.
to the garbage disposal. It's like a whole big thing down there. But everybody wants to DIY. I think electrical and plumbing, you kind of leave that to the professionals, and you can get a bucket of paint and paint it. So let's talk about the freestanding bathtubs that they have right now. What do they call them?
They're freestanding
Like a-
bathtubs.
I got it
They're
right.
nice. They're very nice.
So it's like a soaking tub.
It's a soaking tub without the jets. They're doing away with the jets. You know, the jets held water and
Okay.
just not real sanitary. But freestanding tubs, we can come in where you have a jacuzzi tub and change out the drain. And,
Okay. The measurements are about the same, 5 or
they're the
6 foot tub?
same. Just the drain is the only problem that we've come across. But now they're letting you, instead of having a center drain, it's either left or right.
Okay. Well, let's talk about fixtures. What's hot in the fixture business right now?
Delta faucets, you know, just the rain heads.
Yeah.
You know, and the body sprayers, and I see most of those, the tubs, the sewing machine sinks, you know, just something a little different, the vessel sinks, you know, the faucets that are a waterfall, and
Yeah, I like that.
yeah.
In
those are
Nashville,
nice.
there was this restaurant, and it was downtown, and I liked it a lot. And you go to the bathroom, and it's just this piece of granite and a sink under it, and it just fell off. It's like, that's a lot of water, but it looks really cool. We have some really good friends. I think you did a bid for them for the Snyders, Matthew and Jenny Snyder. Big fan of the Sweet People. And that's something, he's a truck driver, and he's got Truck Driver of the Year award, but he likes a good hot shower, like most men do. But he wants to get the shower head over the top,
Right.
and then the regular shower or 2 shower heads. So you can do lots of stuff in these walk-in showers, and now you have just total walk-in showers. Some people aren't even putting a tub, is what I've seen in the past 5 or 6 years with real estate and flips. People are
Just
going more
leaving
to
it
showers.
shower, yeah.
Is there a big cost to run additional piping once you're in there? Once you get it, is it much more to get behind the scenes? You have to have
on a
3 faucets?
On the shower head, I would say you need 3 valves.
Okay,
you know,
3 valves.
Or you can do a multi-valve, but you're just not going to have the water pressure,
Okay.
you know, with just one single valve.
Okay.
So,
So once you're bringing the water in there, the hot and the cold, when you run in, let's say somebody's going to build a house and they have a slab, would they bring in 3 pipes to go to that shower, or just 1 pipe and then your plumber splits
just
it
one
off?
with the valves.
So that saves a little bit more money than I
yeah.
may have thought. Are y'all doing the flex piping, or are we still doing copper piping?
We do we do the flex.
The red and the
yeah.
blue? What's the benefits of that versus,
No freeze leaks. It's putting us plumbers out of a job.
oh no,
It
they don't
is.
freeze as often.
But I would say if you have, you know, that PVC piping that has burst this year, please pay the extra money to put this piping in. It's so much better, and it will not freeze.
And are you talking about the red and the blue? You're talking about
The Worsbo piping, it's like a water hose.
okay, and that's better.
It's a whole lot better.
It's kind of insulated? Is it got a rubber quality to it?
It has an insulation on
Okay.
it, and it's just like a water hose.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about outdoor, because in homes right now, I see a lot of outdoor living spaces because that's popular. We have a TV, and some people have maybe a gas. Do y'all run gas lines to the patio for the grill so we don't have to do propane tanks anymore?
We do. And gas, we'll do the gas grills, we'll do the gas fireplaces out
Okay.
there. Run a hot and cold water out there. Just like have your shut off inside the house. Make sure it's drained out.
Yeah.
And your water heater
Okay.
for the winter.
Is there anything I missed that's new and trendy? Because I know you keep up with everything. Plus, you're a lady. You're supposed to keep up with stuff like that.
I think we've covered most everything. I mean, we're not electricians. Just like you said, hire an electrician or a plumber
Yeah.
to come out. I've had one guy come call us. His house flooded out. He was taking out the valve in the shower and forgot to turn the water off.
Yeah, you got to do that.
So
How'd that work out?
It's not real good. It's not real good.
Okay.
So
Well, we'll always want to make sure. Let's tell people where they can find you and contact you if they have any questions from a pro.
Okay, we have a website. It's olivebranchplumbing.com. Or you can reach us at 662-893-0346. Or you can come by and see us at 8510 Highway 178.
I like everybody that shops local and supports local businesses, and
Absolutely.
y'all have had this around 30 years. You've had it yourself for 20 years, and your father started it 30 years ago, and I guess taught you a lot of stuff, and then we have new things that you're keeping up with. That's what I like about what you're doing. You're keeping up with the new changes.
And we'll be glad to help you in any aspect on remodeling or changing out these freestanding tubs. Just give us a call.
All right, y'all, this has been TJ Cates with Good Morning Olive Branch, and my friend.
Angel Gross, Olive Branch Plumbing.